Hello everybody, John here, and this is the weekly weather briefing. Well, I've been talking about the cold snap. We had a little bit of it already, and the big show, as you've probably heard, it's been well advertised, is moving in right now. And really the first half of the week is going to be the coldest temperatures, and then I'll be talking about lingering cold for a while over the eastern U.S. Now, cold weather is usually stable weather, so there's not going to be a whole lot of precipitation, but there will be sun. But the big story is going to be the cold. So let's get started with today's weather briefing. Well, you can see precipitation last week, not a whole lot, and again, that's because we've had a stable air mass, cold stable air mass, not as much precipitation. But you can see right along the Missouri-Arkansas border into parts of Texas and Oklahoma some heavier precip. Also some more moderate rainfall over the southeast U.S. and Florida. Well, I wanted to point out here, this little band here, well, that wasn't in the form of rain, that was in the form of snow. And this time of year we do get these snow streaks, light for the most part, but you can see right along the Iowa-Minnesota border, maybe a couple inches of snow, and this is on the ground as of this morning. So if you want to identify where the frontal boundary is right now, you can sort of see it here in the dew point. Dew point's in the 40s right in here. So what we're doing is we're trying to sort of push up some moisture ahead of the front. Out ahead of it, here's the air mass number 1, cool and dry. Here's the air mass 2, very cold and very dry. And this is pushing down here. So there'll be a little bit of moisture to work with ahead of this front, but really not a lot, and that's why I don't expect a whole lot of precipitation. So like I said, over the last week, this was part 1 of this cold episode, and you can see here the purple here were temperatures at least 10 degrees, if not closer to 15 degrees below normal. But 2/3 of the nation did experience below normal temperatures over the last week. The exceptions of where it was warmer than normal were the western U.S., southwest U.S., and Florida. So over the last 24 hours, these are temperature changes. Now red is saying where temperatures are warmer than 24 hours ago, blue colder. Again, you can see right where that front is. So these are colder temperatures than 24 hours, and you can see ahead of it a couple days of mild weather, but that's about it. And then what we're going to have is an abrupt change. Let's quick talk about stream flow. And because we've had these stable air masses, streams are quieting down. We have the Missouri and smaller parts of the Mississippi are still above flood stage. These are the black triangles. But again, because of the lack of significant rain or snow, almost all of these now are receding. Okay, so talking about the forecast here now, what we have again is this area of high pressure, this area of low pressure at the jet stream level, really sort of defining our weather. And the jet stream's flowing north, bowing north around this area of high pressure, then it's dipping south along this area of low pressure. Cold air associated with this low, warm air associated with this high, and that pretty much explains why we have these very extreme contrasts in temperature. So over the next couple weeks, let's look at the jet stream, and let's just sort of start to look at color. Color, the blue is indicating a dip in the jet stream, a brown is indicating a pushing north. So what you see is that this area of the most extreme cold, you would think it might not last all that long just because the jet stream seems to straighten out as we get into week 2. Now we can look at temperatures here, and let's see what that's showing. And again, look at that, sort of a disappearing act here. Looks like after this week, we have a reversal in week 2, and we go from below normal temperatures to near or maybe a bit above normal temperatures. So in a nutshell, about 3 days of extreme cold, another 3 days of lingering cold, another 3 days of near normal, and then maybe even a bit above normal. Now look at the western U.S. though. Western U.S. remains sort of the opposite here. We start off with unusually warm, and then we moderate back to normal. So here's the front coming through. You can see the area of high pressure right here. There's that cold air, north winds, and really sweeping through very quick over the next 1 to 2 days. Now, like I started with, these are stable air masses, so not a lot of precipitation. We got to sort of keep an eye on behind it in the cold air. We're going to have some snow streaks like we've seen before. And here's one, and I wouldn't exactly say it's going to be in this position, but it could be close. We could get a 1 to 3 inch sort of a clipper type system behind this, moving quickly from the northwest. It's moving quickly, not a lot of moisture, so probably not a lot of snow. So I've already talked about week 1. We have the cold weather here and the warm weather here. Cold here, warm here. We get into week 2, and these patterns are sort of similar, but they begin to moderate. And actually, I think as we get closer to 14 days, you're going to see going back to large areas closer to normal. There's the stable air right here under the high pressure. Stable air, west coast, dry as well. Dry air through both times. So from precipitation standpoint, I think the only area where we could get some really heavier precipitation, there's some signs of a coastal type low towards the end of this week into next, and that could enhance some coastal precipitation. So if you want to get some idea of how cold, well, here's Monday night. Look at the single digits. And here's Tuesday night. Really a large area of single digits or teens over the eastern U.S. If you want to look at the number of records, well, here's a little table that shows them. This is Tuesday night. Low minimums, you can see right here, Tuesday and Wednesday, 21 and 71. And then we're looking at a number of low maximum temperatures as well. So not only extremely cold at night, but the temperature hardly rising at all. So once again, I think I've sort of sliced and diced it here, but overall it looks like just basically for the eastern half, if not 2/3 of the nation, unusually cold weather this week, and that's going to be the main story. Have a great week.